Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Competitive Advantage podcast. This is one of the best decisions I've made this year, starting this thing. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for listening. This episode is going to run just like the other ones. So I've got one fantastic book recommendation for you that I'm going to get into in just 1 second, and then we're going to move on to someone that I'm following and learning from that I'm going to recommend to you as well. Then one business growth strategy or tactic that I am using, like personally myself, to grow, develop my business into. I've already hit 5K per month, and I want to just expand beyond that. And this is exactly how I'm doing that. And then last. I've got a single, high leverage question that you can ask that's going to make a big, noticeable, like, measurable difference in your life. It's going to be a catalyst for a big change if you ask these kind of questions, these powerful questions. And so I've got one of those all lined up for you. The Competitive Advantage podcast is brought to you by my private coaching community of the same name that I host on School. It's an exclusive mastermind for ambitious creators and entrepreneurs who want to accelerate far past 5K per month mark. And so we've come together as a like-minded community of creators and entrepreneurs that are deeply committed to extreme personal, professional, and financial growth. So far, I've assembled a fantastic group of people inside that community, and I'm so proud of who they are and how much work they're putting in and the kind of results that they're getting. And it's really a fantastic group. And so the competitive advantage is for you if you want to gain perfect clarity around what's not working in your business and how to fix it. If you want to dissolve the majority of your stress and reclaim your sanity, and free up 25 hours or more of productive time in your work week. And perhaps most importantly, build a magnetic personal brand and become unforgettable online. The minimum standard for me is to add at least another $1,000 per month to your revenue. And as a member of that community, you have direct access to me every single day. I'm there every single day helping you to achieve that and even more, going beyond that. So that's the first link in the show notes below. And so the book recommendation I've got for you today is called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. It's one of the best productivity books I've ever read. And the core idea is that almost nothing matters. It's very difficult to overestimate the relative unimportance of pretty much everything, and what that means is that you have to like consciously carve out time for what does mean something and just ruthlessly eliminate everything else, like every single possible thing that's not essential. Just get rid of it, cut it. It's not serving you, it's not taking you where you want to go, and the book will help you identify exactly what those things are and how you can go all in on the things that actually do mean something. One thing that people know about me is just how obsessed I am with time and not wasting it. And this is one of the best books if you want to just learn how not to waste time and just how to deploy it intelligently, effectively at the things that are going to move you forward the best, like the most effective things you could be doing. This is one of the best books to read. I'll share four quick quotes. And the first one is, if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. Which is just so important to understand. Like, it reminds me of the Carl Jung quote where he says, "The world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, the world will tell you." So, I mean, there are tons of people that have, priorities of their own, and they will willingly project them onto you. They will not hesitate to assign you a priority. So you have to take matters in your own hands and actually select one for yourself. The next quote here is, "The overwhelming reality is we live in a world where almost everything is worthless and very few things are exceptionally valuable," which is basically the starting point for understanding this book, which brings me to the next quote where he says, "Essentialism is not about how to get more things done. It's about how to get the right things done. It doesn't mean just doing less for the sake of less either. It's about making the wisest possible investment of your time and energy in order to operate at our highest point of contribution by doing only what is essential." The key phrase there is highest point of contribution. And then the last quote here is, "Essentialists see trade offs as an inherent part of life, not as an inherently negative part of life. Instead of asking, what do I have to give up? They ask, what do I want to go big on? The cumulative impact of this small change in thinking can be profound." And before we move on into the business growth tactic, that reminds me of another fantastic time management book. It's called 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Berkman, and it received one of my highest recommendations. It's just a spectacular book, and so I've written a complete breakdown of both Essentialism and 4,000 Weeks. You can find those in the show notes, and they're both free. Just read them just for nothing. You don't even have to enter your email or anything. You just read them. But what Oliver Brickman discusses in the book is that it's not just the things you don't want to do or the things that are like meaningless or like that aren't taking you to where you want to go that you have to give up. There are also things that you actually do want to do. Like there's things you have to give up that you may still want to do, but you literally cannot fit in everything. So you have to make these sort of painful, like inevitably painful trade-offs, and sort of accept like the finitude of human existence, which means like the choices that you actually do end up making are even more consequential. You have to like they're even more important because you have to give up things that you do actually want to do. Like it's not just like the useless stuff. And so I recommend both of those books just tremendously highly. And there's even another one. I've also written a breakdown of this, and it's down in the show notes. It's called The One Thing by Gary Keller, and similar idea there. But moving on to the business growth strategy, is I want to talk just very briefly about product market fit, which is basically it's the determining factor in whether you make money in your business or you don't. And it's basically the idea of selling something that people want. Like you're not going to create desire in the marketplace. Like it's very, very difficult to make people want something that you've built. The very like what you have to do is turn that whole process around and figure out like through research and talking to people and just observation and experimentation what people are already buying, what they're interested in, what the market actually wants. Like the market, which is made up of people, obviously, they will tell you through their words, actions, like what they actually spend money on, what they want to buy, what they want from you, and what they will buy from you, and you have to take that into account. Like there's no sense in making something, even like spending like 100 hours, 1,000 hours making something that's like absolutely just brilliant and perfect in every possible way, just flawless, except for the one like overwhelming or overarching flaw that nobody actually wants it. Like it's just a gigantic waste of time. So you have to always seek product market fit. And so, I mean, in my own case, a lot of what I do is personal coaching in the time management space, right? And I mean, who doesn't want more time? So even more so now, I mean, people are more stressed and they have even less time than ever before. So that market is huge. I mean, there are, I mean, literally millions of people that would want, what I provide, right? And it's just I mean, one of the only things is I mean, total addressable market or TAM. I can't reach everyone who may want to hire me, and also people that can't afford me, which is almost everyone. So I mean that's the only thing. Like I have product market fit though because I have this time management solution. Like I've solved this problem for myself. I've freed up dozens and dozens of hours in my own life and schedule, and I can help people do that. Like that's what I do for for work. Like like I will take someone's life basically and optimize it like perfect efficiency, like save you dozens of hours, and that is product market fit. Whereas like if I was trying to sell something that nobody wanted, it would be a very, very tough sell. So you really have to dial in what exactly you're offering, and if the market actually wants it. So and as obvious as that sounds, like a lot of the work that I do in like with other coaching, like business coaching, is people that are trying to create things that like that nobody wants. And it's just it's astounding how prevalent that problem is. But okay, so I will move on to one person that I'm following, and a friend of mine, Martel, and he just has one of the best up and coming YouTube channels around. Like I binge this guy's YouTube videos all the time, and what's interesting about him, I mean, there's plenty of that's interesting about him. The almost total lack of editing. It's basically just him in front of the camera talking about real things. His focus is teaching men how to self-improve and make money through their personal brands, right? So that's why I watch his content. Like we're perfectly aligned in that. I mean, that's basically we both do the same thing. We work with the same type of people, but the way he does it is so watchable, and like he genuinely one okay. So he's demonstrated competence in what he does, right? So a lot of what he talks about is fitness. obviously super jacked dude. One of his most popular videos is "Getting Jacked Will Give You Celebrity Status," which is man, it's a title I might steal for myself. Actually, make a video like that of my own because it's so true and like the just. And like the video itself has basically no editing. It's just him like straight talking to the camera. Obviously with no shirt because it's like I said, demonstrating competence. Like he's done the thing. Like he's gotten jacked, right? And now he makes this straight talking YouTube video about how other men can do it, and it's just what he's doing on YouTube is just so damn cool. And so I'm learning a lot from him, business, personal branding, and just his commitment to the whole thing and fitness, and involving all of these different things. Like he reads and just brings like this sort of mindfulness aspect to it, and this just an intelligently directed approach to entrepreneurship and personal branding. I'm super impressed with Martello, what he's doing, and he's just going to be super successful on YouTube and just in general with everything that he's doing. So I follow him. He's got a newsletter called Mind of Martell. That's worth subscribing to, same as YouTube channel, and I will link all of that down in the show notes as well. Which leads us to the high leverage question, which you can ask yourself, and that's going to lead to an astonishing amount of progress and growth. And after that, I'll talk a little bit about what I'm working on specifically in my own business, how my own goals are shaping up, and I save that to to the end. Because I know not everyone is going to be interested in that, so no pressure to stay for that. But I do have specific business goals. I have a pretty uncommon approach to my goals. I don't see many people talking about this, and so I'll mention what my approach is and the progress that I'm making. But the high leverage question that I've got for you comes straight from essentialism. If you could be truly excellent at just one thing, what would that be? Which gets to the heart of the idea that your time is extremely limited, and the number of things that you can start and finish, like importantly finish to a high level of like to a high standard is very small. And if you're really putting in the amount of work that it takes to build something truly excellent, you really can't do all that many things. Now, you look at people who have achieved a certain level of success in what they do, and you'll find that they're not like going off in all of these different directions. Yes, I have several different revenue streams in my business, but they're all related, or at least tangentially related. And like I don't do drop shipping and like I don't have like a social media agency, and all this things. Like I don't have all of that stuff. It's like most of my business is centered around like books and coaching, right? And my interests too. Like I'm not doing a bunch of sports. It's basically reading and lifting is basically all I do. Like I'm very centered and focused in what I do. So like those things are what I've chosen to be important above all else. And I'm giving up some things that I would love to do. Like I would love to learn how to be a better swimmer, or like all of these just random things, right? But if I want to be truly excellent at just one or two, possibly three things, then I have to give up all of the rest that aren't it. Basically, so it's a very high leverage question that you can ask yourself. And so this is very informal. That I'll just speak about my goals and stuff like that I'm working on in my business. I don't really have a whole lot of notes prepared, but this is what I do like every day. So this is just this I breathe this stuff. So this whole month is basically focused on updating my back end systems. So I mean, man, like I haven't had a proper welcome sequence to my email list, my newsletter, for 6 months or more, and so that's being updated right now. And even just like my social media profiles, like just last night I was updating my LinkedIn bio, and like the about page had all of these outdated links and just like, things like I would reread what I had there, and it was just like it's just it sounded like someone else wrote it, or just like someone who was out of touch with what I'm doing now. So I had to basically take this big step back this month and last month and update all of those things, and different sales pages and things like that. So for the private community on school, I had to redo that whole sales page, and like I'm working on an affiliate program for that, so you can earn money by referring other people as members to that group. And that's not quite ready yet, but I will let people know when that happens. And so all of these things, right? So like this is all on the back end, and a little bit on the front end too. Whereas where it's my social media profiles are concerned. But this is basically taking a step back while still like generating revenue for my business. So, I'm still reaching out to tons of authors. And just for like, if I see someone who has a fantastic book that I think my audience would like, and like there's a natural fit, that I will reach out to that author and I'll ask them whether they want to work with me to strike some sort of deal or collaboration. And I put a pretty big focus on that because it's one of my biggest revenue streams in my business, right? And like one of my favorite books, business books, anyways, is The 10 Pillars of Wealth by Alex Becker. And one thing that just sticks out from that book is that you have to focus on the things that are actually getting you paid, as opposed to like, and even, man, even updating my social media profiles, like, yes, that's important, but like that should not be the thing that you focus on. Like this is in the background, right? You have to, like, especially when you're just kind of like trying to reach sustainability, you have to focus on the things that are making you money. You have to like make enough money to do your art. You know what I mean? And you really have to like profit first, because if you don't make any money, you won't stay in business. Like it's cash flow. That's where the focus has to be. So I am updating all of these back end systems, but at the same time, I'm still publishing regularly and growing my newsletter, appearing on podcasts, and like striking these deals and collaborations. I've gotten some really cool collaborations in the works right now. Different people, companies, can't say, but some really cool things coming up. And obviously, I've got my social media growth goals. I'm almost at 110,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm really making a big push this year on LinkedIn and YouTube, and obviously like Threads too, my newsletter. Like I'm making a big push everywhere, content wise, because I see the opportunity. Like if you have no personal brand in 2024, like what are you even doing? And so I see the value in it. I'm sort of like I have to, again, I can't do everything. I have to focus. I have to find what's truly essential and go all in. But that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And yeah, so it's a lot to balance, but I'm not trying to do all of these different things and going off in all these different directions. So, I'm pretty much like this season of life is all in on the business, growing it. I want to get to $50,000 a month revenue by the end of the year, and I have a very, very, very good shot at doing that. And so basically, I'm just all in until then. I've got maybe what, like 225 days or something like that to hit $50,000 a month, and now's the time. Like when else am I gonna just go this hard in growing this business and just building up that revenue? So that's what I'm working on right now, and I saved that to the end, like I said, because not everyone's going to be interested in that. Thanks again for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of today's episode and what your favorite takeaways were, and I will see you in the next one.
Waste time, no, I make time. All these people wanna hate, fine, I'ma make mine. While you sitting there complaining, I'll be training. While you sitting there just waiting, I'm creating. Yeah, sometimes I think that I'm unstoppable.